race at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time, Alex, and I think we've relaxed a little bit, settled down from this game, and are now able to get into it a little bit, just break it down. What went right, what went wrong. Not a thing. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Nothing. Everything's wrong, and it's over.
I almost went full necessary. Not a thing's been working for us.
You gotta rip their heads off, and then you gotta...
Yeah.
We don't actually... None of that. None of that. Listen, look, things are a little dreary. It's obvious. It sucks, Faithful. It sucks, Cutback Crew. None of this is what we wanted. None of this is what the 49ers wanted. The fan base doesn't want this. You know, I think a lot of the fans thought you get Trey Lance in there and things are going to change there in the second half and things are going to go differently, right? Trey Lance out there should have opened up the offense in some people's minds in terms of what could have been done. It's really hard when you're the number 2 quarterback, not taking a lot of those reps. Game plan's not designed for you to have success. It's designed for another quarterback, and you have to come in and try and replicate those things. It's not easy. But let's get into this. Let's talk about this, and let's talk about what went wrong. Let's talk about what went right. Before we do, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and that notification bell. That way you're notified for all of the content. Because, look, things are bad right now. But we got a whole other week, whole other list of things to talk about, and another game that we're going to have to start getting ready for, preparing for as a fan base, and the organization, the team's going to have to start doing as well. So after this, we're going to start moving on. We're going to start prepping. On Patreon, we'll have the old 22 film breakdown that you can go look at and take a look at and maybe feel better or worse about the team depending on how it looks and what happens there. We'll see. But things started off great.
They did.
And a lot of 49ers fans forgot that. The bad taste of the finish of this game, you know, negates how good we all felt on that opening drive with what this team did. You know, capped off by Jimmy Garoppolo shot down the sideline to Ross Dwelley up in space 1-on-1, and it was essentially a 50-50 ball, and Ross Dwelley goes up and makes a play and comes down in the end zone, and everyone's feeling good. I know I was feeling good. I know I picked up the phone and called you and was like, hey, man, if this stays right here, this is going to be bad for Seattle.
Yeah, the 49ers came out firing on all cylinders, whether it was defense or offense, and especially the defense, lighting it up. They had Russell Wilson, confused. He was not comfortable in the pocket. They were getting after him. The secondary was lighting it up. They were all over DK, all over Lockett. There was no room for any of these guys to make plays. And DeMeco Ryans was just, putting together an absolute heck of a game plan and putting on a clinic early in this game. And the 49ers offense got the ball. And on their first drive, it was like boom, 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 boom. Run game, pass game, and mainly the pass game. Jimmy Garoppolo getting the ball out on time and getting it to his playmakers, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and allowing them to make plays. They marked right down the field, and then he takes a shot down the field and hits Ross Dwelley for a touchdown. It's a great drive, and I know I was feeling absolutely fantastic about it. You're right. You called me right after that, and we were excited because we knew that they had the opportunity to go in there and really handle business because whether or not people want to believe it, the 49ers are a better football team than Seattle. The problem is that when it came down to it, Seattle made more plays and the 49ers made more mistakes in the long run. But the 49ers were definitely hanging in there. And I thought overall first half performance by this defense was absolutely outstanding. When you finally, once Russ got an opportunity, he went 80 yards and he made his play, you expect that to happen. What you don't expect to happen is what happened in the second half. But the first half was a very well done execution by the 49ers on defense. On offense, a little shaky after the first drive. I thought the second drive went well. They moved the ball down the field. They had the momentum. I think the Laken Tomlinson giving up the sack where Brooks comes on the blitz and he's late to get there. He doesn't recognize it early enough, and he gets home to Jimmy, and they're not able to get the first down. They come close. They decide to go with the Mitch Wisnowski 41-yard field goal. If that's Robbie Gould and it's 10-0, that momentum keeps going, right? That momentum keeps working.
Especially since the defense goes and gets another stop.
Right.
They go and get another stop. That game, we got through 3 or 4 drives of that game, Ant, and I felt sick.
Yeah.
I felt sick. Like, it didn't feel good.
No.
And Megan, I'm sitting there watching that first half with her, and she's sitting there and she kind of looks at me and she's like, I don't know what you're so worried about. It's because it's Russ Wilson. It's Russell Wilson. And we have had an opportunity to not just put this game away. This could be coffin. The Seahawks could be dead and buried right now. We could be up 28-0 right now. We could also be up 17-0 right now, and I would feel good. We're none of those things. It's 7-0. It's 7-0, and all it takes is one drive from Russell Wilson and the Seahawks offense for things to start clicking. And then it happens. But it happened, and there was still enough time left on the clock. There was still enough time left on the clock where I was sitting there going, hey, you know what? This isn't great. But if the Niners go down and put 3 or a touchdown on the board here, you're going to come out of halftime with momentum and the ball. You could put another touchdown on the board, and we could be sitting at 21-7 with 8-9 minutes left in that third quarter. And you know what? I'm still okay. We let them back in and we left the door open, but now we're getting close to slamming that door shut. So all hope wasn't lost. Seattle went down and scored and on that next drive where they methodically worked the ball down the field. No big shots, nothing crazy, but they moved the ball and they really earned that touchdown there at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
I was still sitting there going, there's enough time on the clock. With the 49ers put some points up, we could be looking at a 17-7 situation here, midway through the third, in which we're still in complete control of this game and Seattle's playing from behind and all the momentum is in our favor. And that didn't happen. I mean, nothing went the way that San Francisco needed it to go. Jimmy's dealing with some sort of calf issue, obviously, so he's pushing through that 2-minute drill as best he can, but obviously not good enough and not feeling great, and then comes out of halftime, and he's not the guy, and we make the switch to Trey at that halfway point.
Yeah, the driving I think we had like about 5:42 left, and we're driving in the first half. That was the opportunity I thought the 49ers really could have marched down the field and took over the football game and just, they were dominating the first half, but they could have completely just put this thing out of reach because they could have won a 4-minute offense, reused all the clock, not allowed Russ any opportunity, and then got some points. Then you're getting the ball coming back out of the half, and the 49ers have scored 24 points. In those situations, they're very good at the end of 2 minutes. So it was a good situation for the 49ers. Unfortunately, the 49ers don't capitalize on that. They give Russell Wilson some time, and he's able to march down the field and score. The scary part is the 49ers had an opportunity again to go down, and they don't do it. And it's like, come on, you guys really got to get this going. Kyle was doing what he's done, methodically moving the ball, mixing run and mixing pass, but they just weren't able to make the plays when they needed to make them, whether that was somebody not making a catch or an errant throw. It just didn't look like they had the chemistry, and nothing was working the right way. Nothing
clicked.
Right.
And the Jimmy pick didn't help. But here's the thing. The Jimmy pick and the defensive stop immediately after that signaled and I thought was signaling to me and signifying to me that this team, this is a different team this week. Defense, I don't think so. We got your number. We're ready for you. And now offensively, if that doesn't give you the motivation to go be aggressive, keep yourself on the field and push, find ways to drive. Hey, we can make some mistakes. The defense is on top of it. They're ready to go this week. It's time to get our butts into high gear, right, and put this ball down the field, push this ball down the field, give ourselves some better opportunities and some better chances. It really felt like things were off, though, once we got to about midfield, because we had a couple drives that got to midfield and stalled early in this game. It felt like once we got to midfield, things stalled. The drive stalled. The offensive flow stalled. I don't know if that's because the defense, elevated and picked up.
They changed the way they're playing.
Okay.
So it's a bend and break, right? So you're giving space. You're letting Jimmy Garoppolo have these opportunities to make and complete passes underneath. And then when it gets to midfield, you tighten up and you press the coverage. And that's what they did. They got a little bit tighter on all these receivers, and the receivers, had to win. And there were situations where receivers didn't win. And Jimmy Garoppolo a couple times made a couple questionable throws. He had the one that was really high over Deebo Samuel's head.
Not good. The high one to Kittle.
Yeah, the high one to Kittle. There are opportunities where, and also a couple batted down footballs as well.
That's also true. Yeah.
But unfortunately, they weren't able to do that. And it's crazy because the defense did completely negate that turnover. The turnover happens, the defense goes out there and completely shuts him down, sacks him.
Big third down sack that puts him out of field goal range. Yeah.
It was nice. It really was. And it's unfortunate that they just never were able to get any offense out of any of those stops. And that you're right, they could have put this game out of reach early on and at least made it very difficult for Russell Wilson to come back. Because Seattle before this hadn't done much in the third and fourth quarter, and a lot of that is because they were being dominated with the run game. But the 49ers don't have that great of a run game right now. They're not able to execute it at a high level. They dressed 2 running backs in Trenton Cannon. That's really what it came down to. Both those guys spun a little bit and didn't look bad, but you could tell it was a certain game plan they were only allowed to do. The outside zone wasn't there. They didn't really go to any sweep plays as well. Just wasn't a lot there.
No, there really wasn't. A lot of stuff they did was on the interior, and there were opportunities and situations. But there's a very easy way to stop that interior run and that's just start loading the box up and making it really, really hard to account for all the numbers and the bodies in there. And that's what they did. They did those types of things when the run game started to get going. They would load the box up and prevent the Niners from really getting anything going. It sucks, man. It's unfortunate. It's a bad situation. It's not a great situation for the 49ers. And then the second half comes and the things happen with Trey Lance. Trey Lance goes in, looks really sloppy on those early couple drives. Definitely can tell he's not settled in. He's not feeling comfortable. He's not feeling almost like he's ready. It didn't feel like it. It felt like he was definitely trying to feel the situation out and figure it out. And he talked a little bit about that as much in his presser afterwards. He said he felt he was thinking too much. He was worried about things. He's thinking about what he's supposed to be doing instead of just doing those things. That's going to happen with the rookie. 100% going to happen with the rookie. But he does some good things. He extends plays when we need to extend. Towards the end of the game, when soft coverages are being played and the Seahawks are allowing him to throw the ball underneath in space to let the 49ers move the ball, but you know what? You're going to have to eat 3 to 4 minutes in order to score. You don't get to score in a minute or 2 or 50 seconds. Sorry, Trey Lance, no deep ball. We're going to take away the strength of your game and make you play underneath. Once the pressure wasn't being put on and they sagged off, he was able to find guys, complete, extend drives, extend plays with his legs, extend drives with his legs, and that's all great. All that's good and great. But we need to see more earlier from him in that third quarter, more early from him after Seattle puts up those 2 scores and is able to get some stuff in. The big one for me that was kind of the signal to me that, hey, Trey's struggling right now to find the things and seeing the defense and making the right reads was a situation where they come out and run a little hitch flats combo route with Kyle Juszczyk and Deebo Samuel. Everyone bites on the Deebo Samuel hitch. Kyle Juszczyk is wide open in the flat. Trey misses him. Tries to put the ball to Deebo. I think it was either Deebo. It might have been Ayuk.
It's Ayuk.
Ayuk in space. Tries to put it there, and it's just not anywhere close to where it's supposed to be. And they come out the very next set, and similar formation, not exactly the same, but same motion from Juszczyk, same route combination, same concept against basically the same coverage. And Trey goes right to him, and it's like, oh, yeah, Kyle got on the horn and was just like, hey, we're going to run that again out of this formation, and this time you're going to throw the ball to Kyle Juszczyk because he's wide open. And he does what he's supposed to do. But those types of situations where you're running the same play back to back, getting the result you should have gotten the first time, it's just a signal to me, right, that while Trey does have a lot of positive things that he adds to this offense, and he does bring a lot of things to the table that Jimmy doesn't bring, the ability to extend the play, the ability to keep things alive with his feet, the ability to especially stretch the ball downfield off those things. He can do all of those things, but he's still struggling to find and locate the guys underneath, taking what the defense gives him when he's supposed to. Will time fix those things? Yes. How much time is the question? Because these were the same issues and the same problems that he was having in the preseason.
Yeah, and Kyle Shanahan did his best of trying to work this guy in. That's the reason he runs these run plays early in the game and with Trey in there in the second half. He's trying to get Trey comfortable with the situation, comfortable with what he's seeing, let him relax and settle down a little bit. Because you saw what happened when he was asked to throw for the first time. He gets him outside the pocket, which should be a very easy throw, high percentage throw to George Kittle, and he just completely, throws it into the ground. So Kyle Shanahan was trying to protect this guy, and a lot of people question about, you just got to let him rip. That's not how it works. I mean, that's not what happens with a young quarterback. You got to work him in, you got to ease him in, and you're trying to help this guy get into plus territory, because if they would have been able to get it, past the 50-yard line, running the football, it would have put him in a very good position, because not only is he not backed up against the goal line, but now he's got play action that he can use at his disposal, and it'll free up guys and open bigger windows for him to be able to complete the pass. Because right now, Trey is struggling to put it into tight windows. Whether that is his elongated release or maybe he's just, not reading it as quickly as he should. Those are things that are going into it right now.
I think early on it was not reading it when he should, and later on he was reading it when he should. He was seeing the things that he needed to see, but the release hurts.
Well, they're both problems there.
They're big problems.
Yeah.
The release is an even bigger problem, right? Because the more comfortable he gets in the system, the better he'll get at reading. But it doesn't necessarily mean...
Unless he anticipates.
Unless he anticipates. That's the only thing that he could do, but anticipation can also lead to even bigger mistakes.
Well, yeah, but if he's in... The problem is you said he's thinking. He said from himself he's thinking.
True.
If you're thinking, you can't anticipate.
No, because you're thinking, you're literally thinking about all the things leading up to the decision, rather than just seeing it and knowing right away, going. This is my decision, this is where I'm going.
There used to be the old saying, if you think, you're dead. You don't have time to think, you need to just go out there and execute. And he needs to go up, be able to do that. And I'm sure part of it is he's not running a full game plan. This is not something Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniel drew up. They don't have a full game plan implemented for what Trey Lance does and all the things that he can be successful at. Against Arizona, that's how it'll be. It'll be all about Trey Lance. This will be his first opportunity. We see him in an offense that he should feel comfortable with. Will the game slow down? That's the big question. If the game slows down and he's able to hit his spots and get the timing down, whether that is through anticipation or maybe his release increases a little bit. I think it'll be the first one, not the latter. He'll have to get rid of the ball with anticipation and get it into those windows. And these receivers are going to have to do a good job over the middle of making sure they get their hands on the ball and not letting anything get batted into the air. Because if it gets batted into the air, it's going to be turnover situations. Whenever you have a quarterback that throws so hard like this, you saw with Kaepernick, he would throw the ball tremendously hard. The ball would get knocked in the air and it would create a turnover. So over the middle where Kyle Shanahan really likes to live and where Jimmy Garoppolo lives, that is not Trey's strong suit. And there's opportunities there for turnovers, unfortunately. So places, like you said, where Trey's going to help the team out a lot is down the field stretching it. So I'm curious how Arizona plays it. If I had to guess, Arizona is going to muck up the deep ball. They're going to put two safeties over the top, make Trey beat him underneath, and they're going to make him beat him in the intermediate area because they're going to bring guys around the line of scrimmage and come after him as well.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I think you're going to see a lot of cover 2s, cover 4 situations, and when they do run what looks like cover 1 situations, it's probably going to be cover 3s, in which they're walking down a safety and bringing some pressure, whether that's Budda Baker, whether that's Murphy, whether that's Isaiah Simmons and walking him down, whatever it ends up being. They're going to do a lot of different things there to try and apply pressure because, again, the less time he has to make those decisions, the harder it's going to be. And with the elongated throwing motion, if it's not compact and clean, which right now it is not compact and clean. It is not looking like it did during his pro day. It's not looking like any of those things. It's looking like the older version, not completely. It's not still not as long as it was in college.
Right.
I don't want to be that critical. It's definitely still shortened, but it's longer than it needs to be to have success consistently at the NFL level right now. He's young. He's got a lot of time to clean those things up and fix those things. And he's not going to get that done, though. Now he's not going to get it done next week. That's not going to get cleaned up in the next 6 weeks. That's not even going to get cleaned up in 17 weeks. This is a full lifestyle change. He's going to have to consistently do this on a day in, day out basis in the NFL. There's not enough time between now and the end of the season for that to be the case.
No.
This is a long-term fix for Trey Lance, not a short-term fix. So the things that can be fixed, right, like you said, limit the thinking, get to a more anticipatory actions for him and reads where you can see things, put him in positions, set up motions, formation, things of that nature where, it's going to give him more familiarity with what he's seeing and an easier time anticipating and, I guess, predicting, right, what he's seeing and what he's going up against so he can make quicker, sounder decisions. Yeah. I think those things can come with time.
Yeah, more than likely Kyle's going to give him very defined reads. What he's looking at, half the field type stuff. You're going to go half the field. If you don't see it, get moving, create. They'll probably move the pocket a lot because if I'm a defensive coordinator and I know he's got an elongated motion and he is thinking a lot, I'm going to bring the heat. I'm going to speed up his internal clock, make sure he gets rid of the ball sooner. And those are issues for him. And if they keep, integrity in the lanes in which they're rushing him, he'll get sacked. Even if he's a very good athlete, you can see that. So it's going to be interesting how Arizona attacks him and how Kyle Shanahan schemes it up. But it looks like for Arizona, for sure, that it's going to be Trey Lance, and he's going to have to go out there and operate at a high level. We'll see how he does, and we'll see if he's able to reach that expectation and reach that goal of winning the football game. I'll tell you right now, all I want to do is win. I don't care who the quarterback is. Just go out there and win the game because I'm a 49ers guy, and I want the Niners to win, and I want them to be successful, whatever it takes. So whether that is they need to win this game 10-3, or if they need to win it 33-3, or 33-31, I don't care. Just win. That's what I want. I want Trey to be successful. Because I know that's what helps the 49ers win a football game.
Shocking that Trey's success will lead to potentially 49ers winning the football game.
It usually happens with quarterbacks.
Usually quarterback success leads to team success. So, hey, that's what we're looking for here. But offensively, we each had some key matchups and some things that needed to go the 49ers' way. And what was yours? And did it go the way of the 49ers?
That would be a fat negative there, Alex. It was Kyle Shanahan versus muck it up defense that these teams have been playing where they're absolutely cramming the middle. And I thought early on the script, Kyle Shanahan did a good job, him and Jimmy Garoppolo, of executing these plays. But really, they took advantage of Seattle trying to run business as usual. Seattle didn't try to muck it up. They tried to play the way they've always played the 49ers, and Kyle Shanahan was picking them apart. And then you saw them start creeping into the box a little bit. You get the Diggs interception, and you just see the way that they're playing it. They started playing a little bit tighter on the outside, playing some man coverage, which the 49ers took advantage of a couple of drives into the game. But ultimately, this defense ended up working on the 49ers in the way they were running it. I think there were possibilities and times they could have went more down the field. But I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't know if that was Jimmy's calf. He wasn't able to press and throw it down the field. I don't know what it was. But unfortunately, without watching the All-22 film, on watching what I see on TV, I can't tell you for sure what's happening on that back end. All I do know is once they mucked it up, it stymied this offense again. And that seems to be a real problem for the 49ers and something they're going to have to fix moving forward. Is Trey Lance the answer to that? Well, I'll tell you right now, he at least puts a vertical threat into the game, so people have to worry about him going vertically. The question is now, will it not be muck it up in the intermediate, but muck it up deep? Will they do that, and will they make him beat them in the intermediate? I think they will. That's
fair, man. It's what I think this is going towards, and the direction I think this is going. It's definitely something to keep an eye on and to watch. If you're a 49ers fan, that's the thing you have to look for, and that Trey Lance has got to get prepared for, and that Kyle's got to get prepared for, because it's the reality of the situation. Look, man, my offensive key matchup was the Playmakers versus themselves, and this isn't a win. It doesn't feel like a win. Maybe I'm wrong. We may watch the All-22 film, man, and I come back here, on the podcast after the All-22 film, and we put the breakdown up on Patreon, and I may be sitting here going, hey, I was wrong. The Playmakers won. This is on the quarterbacks, bro. You got to find these guys. You got to get them the football. Jimmy, what are you doing, man? You missed a couple of guys. You took some throws underneath where you should have put it up over the top. Trey, what are you doing, dude? You missed this dude on this route, this double move, or whatever it may be. I may be saying that.
Yeah.
I may be eating my words, but as of right now, at this point in time, this moment in history, not the case. It does not feel like the Playmakers won the matchups that they needed to win consistently enough for us to have success, because Trey Flowers and DJ Reed are not talented enough at the defensive back position for the 49ers wide receivers to not win more often than they did today. Don't get me wrong, Deebo had his moments, 100%. But Deebo's been having his moments. You know who hasn't been having his moments? Anyone else other than Deebo Samuel.
What are we talking about? Mohamed Sanu has been being very, very good at what his role is.
True.
I'm being 100%.
It's true.
Mohamed Sanu has executed the fourth receiver role and sometimes the third receiver role exactly how he's supposed to. He's having pivotal catches, first down catches. I've had no problems with Mohamed Sanu. He's also an excellent blocker.
It's true.
I think he's been a shining spot for this 49ers offense.
Not washed, Ant.
No, I don't think so. It's just he's not the player that everyone thought he was, but as you get older, you translate your game, and he's translated his game into what he is now, a possession guy that can, move the sticks when the 49ers need him. He's a guy with strong hands that can make catches.
And he can get open.
Well, he knows where to be.
Yeah.
He can read zone coverage. He knows where to be, and he sits down in those zones in the right spots. So it's one of those things where if he's there every single time as a quarterback, you understand, it's a safety valve. I know for sure I can feel comfortable with where he's going to be at every time.
I can go here.
Yeah.
I know he'll be here.
And so you do have a comfort factor there.
It's fair. It's fair. But this leads into the straight beast for the offense. We have our offensive key matchups. Neither one of us feels like the offense won those key matchups, and those tend to
not really
not bode well for the 49ers and the offense not having a great day. But someone specifically did, and it's time to talk about that offensive straight beast.
Yeah, and we went with one straight beast this time. A lot of times we will pick two, but one guy stood out above everybody else, and that's Deebo Samuel.
100%.
Deebo Samuel had himself a heck of a game, scoring 2 touchdowns. The long one down the sideline where they tried to cover him with a defensive end, and it didn't work. Jamal Adams just pointing, he was there, I was here.
You!
Yeah.
You! Not me, you! Even though I'm running man, you!
And Deebo gets the ball and scampers to the end zone, and it's a nice big play at a time when the 49ers really needed it. And then going down the stretch, Trey Lance finds him on a screen pass. He catches the ball, gets some great blocking from George Kittle and from the guys out there, and gets in for a touchdown.
Isn't that just a rushing touchdown, though? Are we really going to give Trey Lance? I mean, there was no air yards.
It didn't travel 5 yards.
It didn't travel 5 yards, no air yards. Can we really give Trey Lance credit for that? No one will give Jimmy. We're consistent, though, right? We stay consistent.
It's still a quarterback throwing a touchdown pass.
It's quarterback throwing a touchdown pass, and air yards doesn't matter, right? As long as you throw to the right guy and that guy makes a play.
That's right.
Okay, cool. So Trey Lance did throw a second touchdown pass to Deebo Samuel, and it was a wonderful read, great design, and Deebo does Deebo things when he gets the ball out in open space, which is why Kyle Shanahan schemes those up. It's why it's a good thing that Trey Lance is able to get that ball out there quick, give Deebo plenty of time to catch that ball, read and diagnose his blocks, and then just bully his way into the end zone.
Yeah, Trey got it to him. I mean, in stride, too. I mean, he didn't have to wait, didn't have to turn.
It was great.
It was a nice throw, and he's able to get upfield. George Kittle absolutely takes out Dunbar, which is fantastic. And then
it's probably going to put him on another segment in the show.
Probably. And then Deebo finishes the run at the goal line. I mean, they're there. It's eerily similar to Kyle Juszczyk last week.
It's true.
There's 2 guys there to meet him, but they're no match for Deebo Samuel, and he pushes his way into the end zone. But yeah, Deebo is a straight beast again in this game. A lot of tough catches again.
May have just supplanted himself too and put himself into the receiving yards lead from the NFL.
I mean, he could be. I don't know. What's his name? What Tyreek Hill had over 180 yards or whatever.
That's true, but I think he was a little bit behind because Deebo's still at 2, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what Cooper Kupp's status was in this game, how he did.
He did an okay game, but it wasn't 156 yards and 2 touchdowns. I can tell you that.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel, one heck of a gadget player. Sorry, had to do it.
How dare you?
Yeah, he's very good.
Impassable with the subscription.
Welcome. Impassable's been sniffing around, commenting on stuff, being in chats.
Well, he's no longer sniffing, and he's fully in the house with us.
Welcome to the 49ers Cutback. We appreciate it.
Welcome to the Cutback crew, my guy. Look, and that was a key thing, man. Deebo had himself a game yet again. He has completely solidified himself as a wide receiver 1 for this team. There is no conversation. There is no debate. Deebo Samuel is wide receiver 1. He's not gadget player 1. He's not 1A. He's not 1B. He's not 1 little B. He's not 1 little A. He is numero uno. 1-9 is a lot of problems for everybody.
I think he's just a person in Kyle Shanahan's receiving core that he likes to go to in certain situations.
He's wide receiver 1 guy.
I'm not putting any sort of a mark on these wide receivers.
Acknowledge him.
I'm not the one that's had to acknowledge Deebo Samuel. I have been a staunch supporter of Deebo Samuel from the beginning.
You need to acknowledge him as wide receiver 1, though.
No, I don't.
You're not acknowledging him enough.
No, I'm acknowledging Kyle Shanahan's system and what it's about.
How dare you,
It's
sir.
about each guy has a specific role that they're going to go out there and execute, and Deebo executes his role at a high level.
Extremely high level.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he's going to get the recognition that he deserves, especially with some of the stuff that was said about him during the offseason, about him being a gadget player.
Blasphemy.
And basically a running back. No, this is a wide receiver who has running back skills.
True.
This guy can do it all. He even proved it on the kick return. I thought he had a very nice kick return as well.
So that was the next question I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
Matt. Are we going to start seeing Deebo Samuel kick returns? Because them not going to Trenton Cannon and putting Deebo back there.
I mean, if you don't have to use a roster spot on Trenton Cannon,
then don't use a roster spot on
The only thing that
Trenton
Trenton Cannon gives you is he's one heck of a gunner as well, and very good on kickoff and punt and all that. So he's still a very good special teams player, but we could be getting to the end of the road of Trenton Cannon on this football team. I think that those 2 blunders were big mistakes, and Deebo Samuel could supplant him. Now, the only question is how many times do you want Deebo Samuel getting hit? I'm going to say something that's kind of unpopular, but I haven't been very impressed with Brandon Ayuk's punt return skills either. I don't know if he's the overall answer there as well. I think that he does a good job securing the ball. But we haven't been getting much return yards from him. I think he averaged like 7-8 yards a catch.
If
yeah, I mean I'm trying to be cool, but I don't know. I don't know if he's the answer.
he doesn't feel like it.
Yeah,
nothing that he's done so far he doesn't look explosive.
No, he doesn't.
That's a big concern because I think everyone thought the explosiveness on the kick return or the punt return stuff would be there, right? He'd find that crease, he'd split through, break a tackle, and then shoot out of the cannon. I don't see it.
No. Yeah,
I don't see it. It's concerning.
I haven't seen it. I just thought I'd bring it up since we were talking about Deebo and the return game.
It's fair.
I thought Deebo looked like he was moving pretty good. Now, he doesn't have explosive speed either. But kickoff and punt are a little bit of a different animal.
He's violent, though. Everything he does feels violent.
Yeah, you know who else is violent? Mitch Wisnowski.
Very true. He's violent. He's violent. He lays smack at the down hits. He may end up on another segment on the show, too. Who knows? And look, defensively, though, we each had our key matchups. We had things that the Niners needed to do defensively in order to have success. And I feel they went pretty well. Mine was Mosely versus DK. You want to disrupt DK, you got to disturb DK. And Mosely did that for the most part. I get it. DK had a nice touchdown grab. That was nice. But it was in the slot operating against Alshire, in which he runs a nice route, and Alshire bites on the outside lead, the outside step, and then he's able to break across the middle of the field and make a big play. And Jimmy Ward almost separates football from DK Metcalf and makes a great play for the 49ers. I'm still not convinced it was a touchdown. NFL officiating crew, it is what it is. You're going to do your thing. You do you. But DK didn't feast on the 49ers. Tyler Lockett didn't feast on the 49ers. Emmanuel Mosely, for the most part, especially early in that game, and he was following DK Metcalf around. He was going where DK was. They were putting him on an island with DK at times, it felt like, especially when they were in those man situations on third downs. I've been saying this. The 49ers feel very comfortable with Emmanuel Mosely, whether that's him playing off, him playing up, and playing bump and run coverage with DK. Emmanuel Mosely, through 2 games, has looked phenomenal. He's fantastic. I think he won his matchup today for the most part. DK is obviously going to get his, especially when you throw the ball as many times as Seattle was throwing the football today, and when Russell Wilson has some of the time that he has later in that football game. But for the most part, Emmanuel Mosely won his matchup. He did the things he needed to do, and the 49ers defense put the 49ers offense in positions and situations to win this football game today, and they didn't get it done.
Yeah, Emmanuel Mosely played very well. I thought he was excellent against DK Metcalf. So I think that is actually a win because I think he did hold DK in check. I know DK has the touchdown, but that's not on Emmanuel Mosely. That is on Al-Shaair. And a little bit of a scheme issue there because, you probably shouldn't have Al-Shaair covering DK Metcalf in the slot. I get it. He's just trying to press him inside where he's got help, but he gets deked a little bit and he gets off his spot. The safety's got to respond to that a little bit quicker and make the play at the ball. But because Al-Shaair got deked a little bit too much, it left a window for Russell to be able to get him the football. So that wasn't very good. And going off of that, mine was DeMeco Ryans against Russell Wilson, and it's all about confusing Russ. And I thought early in this game, DeMeco Ryans was almost flawless. The first half, until that exact situation that we just talked about, I thought he was pulling the trigger and pulling the strings on everything right and making Russell Wilson feel completely uncomfortable, even when disaster struck and Jimmy Garoppolo turned the ball over, in negative territory, in bad spot. The 49ers still were able to get out the field. They confused Russell Wilson. They got after him. They made him uncomfortable. At one time, I think I looked up and he was like 2 of 6 for like 3 yards. And you just felt really good about this game plan that DeMeco Ryans put forth. He came out in the second half and they really competed, but there were so many opportunities for Seattle with the football that eventually, a player of Russell Wilson's caliber is going to get to you, similar to what happened in Green Bay. The more opportunities you give Aaron Rodgers or a dynamic quarterback, they're going to make plays, and he made plays today. So Russell Wilson made some plays against DeMeco Ryans' defense, but I thought that DeMeco Ryans did a good job early on. I'm not going to give him a loss because I thought his game plan came through. I think the 49ers offense failed them today, and that ultimately failed this defense because they couldn't keep the defense off the field. You can keep Russ on the sideline more, which they should have been able to do. There's 2 or 3 less possessions where he has the ball and probably a couple or maybe 1-2 less touchdowns, especially the turnover that Cannon had that puts the 49ers in an impossible situation where it's just a matter of time before Russ gets his. And even then, he dialed up a blitz that should have gotten Russell Wilson sacked. Russ gets away and makes a great throw. So DeMeco Ryans, great game plan, great execution of game plan by him. And a lot of the players, too. There was just a few, mistakes here and there, but I thought it was a good game plan. I was very excited about his progression. He is not the problem. It's not DeMeco Ryans at all. It's a combination of a few poor execution things against Green Bay, for sure. But in this game, I thought they executed a lot better on defense. Unfortunately, the offense can't move the ball, and it can't keep Russell Wilson off the field.
Not only that, man. Not only that, but it's bad situations at bad times, bad calls at bad times, bad breaks at bad times. Dialing up the perfect blitz call there for DJ off the edge, him to have Russell Wilson in his grasp, in his sights, and Russ just sneaks out. If he finishes that off, that's a drive that ends in 3 points rather than a touchdown. And the Niners there sitting there at the end of the game, right, driving down the field. The game changes. How you call the game, the things you're looking to do. You don't have to get it all at once. If they only get a field goal on one of those drives, you're only down 10. It's very, very manageable, very, very easy to overcome. You can get a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal, and still find a way to get it done. It sucks. It is what it is. But DeMeco Ryans, this is back-to-back weeks where, again, I feel like he did what he was supposed to do. And you were right. This was major. It was big time. DeMeco Ryans did everything he could, especially early in this game, to give the Niners an opportunity to jump out to a huge lead and for them to not even be anywhere near the situation in the second half. Unfortunately, the 49ers don't get it done. DeMeco Ryans does win his matchup, but there are some defensive players that were hot on the block this week, and it's time to acknowledge them.
It's time for the defensive block is hot players of the game. Alex, who are you going towards? Because there were some very good performers in this game on the defensive side of the ball. I'm curious who you went with.
Emmanuel Mosely.
Oh, that was quick.
Emmanuel Mosely. Acknowledge, 49ers fans, you're so worried about the cornerback room. Everyone's been freaking out about the cornerback room. Emmanuel Mosley's great. Go watch the E-Man is the man for the job video. We did it. We talked about it. Talked about the things that he does well. With the pass rush, he could be fine in this defense. He's shown it in the past. We could get it done. I had faith. You had faith. We had faith. Emmanuel Mosely is doing everything that we thought he could be, right? Everything that we thought Emmanuel Mosely could be. He's showing it right now to everybody. Everyone who's worried about we lost our best corner. We're screwed in the secondary. We can't get it done. Josh Norman's washed. Drake Kirkpatrick, who? He nobody. Demo needs to be out there. Demo, I didn't see Demo out there on defense today. He was nowhere to be found, Ant. He was nowhere to be found. And you know what? Secondary looked just fine to me. Nothing seemed wrong. Emmanuel Mosely locked down DK, broke up a lot of passes, made it very difficult for DK to get some situations. And here's the best part. when he did get beat, he didn't give up on plays. He made the catch that had to be made extremely difficult for the defense, and he punished guys on short routes in space. When guys ran short routes and he had space, when he came up, it wasn't just wrap-up tackles. He was laying the wood on guys today.
Yeah, he's going to give up catches, but he's going to rally and make tackles, and that's what he did all day. He really helped in the run game, too, helping set the edge. There was a couple times he strung out Chris Carson runs or came up on screens. Almost had a great tackle on DK Metcalf on that screen out. If he'd have made that, it would have been a 2-yard loss. He's in the right location, puts his head down, doesn't secure the tackle. That's unfortunate, but I thought overall he played fantastic. If you would have put these stats on Jason Verrett, you would believe it. You're like, oh yeah, Verrett, of course he had that kind of game. That's who Verrett is. Mosely is playing at that level right now. Through 2 weeks, he's playing fantastic. Gave up 3 catches last week. Played very good against this talented wide receiver core and this great quarterback. Yeah, I think we can feel comfortable with Emmanuel Mosely manning up one side. And the fact he was able to travel throughout the game, like you said, on DK, means as we go into football games, Emmanuel Mosely, say hello to D-Hop, because you're about to be flying all over the field with number 10, and everyone else is going to have to figure it out. But we'll get into that another day. But for my block is hot player, I went with his counterpart. I went with Drake Kirkpatrick. Because you know what we didn't hear a lot about? Drake Kirkpatrick. And whenever you don't hear a lot about a corner, it means they're doing their job. They're not throwing their direction. They're not even taking opportunities that way. He had the one pass interference call, ticky-tack, in my opinion, on Tyler Lockett. But I'm going to live with that overall because he had nice, tight coverage. He was right there. And he didn't make mistakes all game. And when he did come up on the run, he played it very well. He played well on screens. I thought Kirkpatrick looked really good. It made me feel comfortable with him. And now I'm thinking, and I'm kind of getting excited about the fact we're going to have Kirkpatrick, Mosely, and Josh Norman in this secondary moving forward, and what that means overall, because Dante Johnson had himself a fine game in the slot as well. So now it looks like the corner and safety or corner room is stabilized a little bit. Those 3 veteran guys know how to play football. Dante Johnson can get it done a little bit in the nickel. So the question will be, is Kirkpatrick kicking inside if Norman's back, or what are they doing there? It's going to be some interesting topics and conversations to have this week. But the good news is we have 3 guys that we know can get out there and get it done, because all 3 have played very good in the last couple games.
They have, man. They really, really have. And look, with me, with that situation with Kirkpatrick, that pass interference call, some 49ers fans are going to be like, you know what? It was pass interference. He got a hold of shoulder. And he did. He did. But I was under the impression that the pass interference rule was put in place and is what it is right now, is if you were interfering with a person's ability to make a catch. That ball hit Tyler Lockett square in the hands. There was no interfering. There was a little bit of a pull to try and slow Tyler down a little bit so he didn't get a little bit more in front of him. But that's something that receivers and corners do all the time. Hand fighting, pushing off, shoving, grabbing, pulling, trying to extend and give yourself that little bit of extra room so you can try and make that catch a little bit cleaner. That kind of stuff happens on every single pass attempt.
If Kirkpatrick would have done it lower, if he'd had the hand down lower on the hip, there would be no call.
No call.
He went high with the shoulder. That is, what the receiver or the referee is going to be looking at. If he goes lower on the hip, he's going to get away with it. Unfortunately, he went high. He's a veteran. He should know better. Because in those type of situations, you can't breathe in the direction of Tyler Lockett, or he's going to get a penalty called for him.
This is the problem I have with PIs now, is that PIs have become less about actual interference and more just about, just contact. Is it contact with a certain wide receiver at a certain point in time? That's what's going to cause flags, because I see no-name guys getting that same sort of action and same sort of tug and getting nothing, and big-name receivers get those calls when they want to, and then Pete Carroll also, gets holding calls on certain guys when he wants to after throwing hissy fits on the sideline. That's now the second week in a row for the 49ers where a penalty has been called after either a coach or a player has thrown a hissy fit. Really, really don't like seeing that kind of stuff from officials. Don't let someone else dictate how you officiate a game or what calls you do and don't make. That holding call they call on McGlinchey is the same holding calls they don't call on Nick Bosa, Samson Ebukam, D Ford, or anyone that wears a 49ers jersey rushing the passer.
Yeah, every once in a while, you're going to get calls, unfortunately.
Correct.
And this one just came at a very pivotal part of the game, and it's upsetting.
They always do.
Well, when we were playing Aaron Rodgers, every one of them were a pivotal point in the game because the dude can score on every single possession.
Dang you, Aaron Rodgers.
Unfortunately, this is the one, right? This is the one call. Other than that, the 49ers played a clean game. You're not going to hold this on to him. This is just a situation of it. He was playing Lockett pretty well. The good thing is he's right there with him. He's on his hip, and he just grabs him a little bit. You live to fight another day, and next time you especially a coaching point, get your hand lower, put your hand on the hip. You can do things like that and impede his progress a little bit, and you're not going to get the call out that many times. But you put it up there where it's visible and you level to that referee, and he's going to call it. So unfortunately, it got him this time, but it doesn't negate the fact that he played a fantastic game. He played hard, and he deserves some recognition for coming in, learning this defense in 2 weeks, and then going out and executing
at a high level
and being able to flip sides. Because as Emmanuel Mosely's flipping sides, so is Drake Kirkpatrick. So once again, a solid signing for the 49ers because he was a nice addition. We couldn't even have been in this game without him out there because I think they would have been able to take advantage of Demo a little bit.
Think back to last year, man. Think back to last year in that Miami game, right? The receiving core we had and the corners we had out there. This isn't that kind of signing. We made some pretty solid moves. We've done a really good job of trying to insulate and protect from this injury with Jason Verrett. I'm impressed with the scouting department. I'm impressed with this coaching staff, locating the guys that they wanted to locate, bringing them in here, and having them turn this thing around so quickly. Because the cornerback room went from hey, this is a real problem to hey, this is pretty good.
Yeah,
I like what I'm seeing.
It's not bad. We can get it done, right? This defense can win football games. The offense has got to pick up the slack and
they got to do their part now
and get it moving. Because we need to be able to, average, 24 to 28 points a game. And if you do, you're going to be able to win a lot of football games with this defense that you have. But they got to be able to move the chains. And if you're not moving the chains, then you're causing problems for your defense. And you can't be an elite defense without a good offense.
We live but by another day.
Yeah.
We live but by. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Farmer friend, I do get it.
I got you, man. Ishiodo, indeed. And look, from straight beasts and block as hot players of the game, we got to talk about the guys who laid the smacketh down all over the Seattle Seahawks candy behinds. I say candy behinds because they had some good plays. I know that we got the loss, but let me have this one, Faithful and Cutback crew. It's time for the Hurt Business. Your hearts may be hurting. You may be upset. You may feel like all is lost, but you know what? We have some guys here who took some of that aggression, that angst that you're feeling right now, and dealt it. They dealt a punishing blow to the Seattle Seahawks, whether that was Mitch Wish freaking Newski on a kickoff ant. This guy not only punts, he kicks extra points. He also misses extra points. He also misses field goals, but he punts the ball really well. He kicks the ball off, and he lays the hammer down on people on kickoffs. And I love to see it.
Yeah, he's a kicker that got a personal foul for hitting unnecessary roughness. So,
true.
I like to see that from him. And then you had George Kittle on the touchdown from Deebo Samuel. I brought it up a little bit earlier. Just really taking Diggs home. I mean, he just took him out of the end zone. He was pretty much going to pancake him, taking out frustrations and everything out on him, doing what Kittle does. I mean, this is kind of Kittle's game. He was out there battling through not only the calf, but whatever the heck else that was. I would like to say that he looked like Gumby in that type of situation. Thank God to his sister for yoga. His sister Erica definitely helped him with yoga on that one. Shout out to her. 100%. I was worried about George Kittle, but he played, lumbered through the whole game, but he got it done.
You got it done, man. George Kittle, you're an absolute savage, absolute beast. Usually a straight beast, but today you're in the hurt business, my guy. It's just as good. It's just as great of a place to be. And but we got to talk about Emmanuel Mosely too, because Emmanuel Mosely a couple of times, especially one of DK's drops. He's on the sidelines. He's got a little tiptoe action to make it third and manageable for the Seahawks. Russ puts it out there in space. It hits him right in the hands and falls to the ground. And as the ball's falling to the ground, you can see the look on DK's face of, oh man, I can't believe I didn't get this. Emmanuel Mosely puts one in his back and right onto the Seattle sideline. Just to add insult to injury, every time that DK was in an area, Emmanuel Mosely was there bringing him down, and a couple of times he laid it down hard on him, just as a friendly reminder that, hey, you're not as open as you think, pal.
Yeah, and a weekly pass also goes to Azeez Al-Shaair. Seems like every single game he's out there, and he's been out there cracking people and laying people out, and he had some more good hits in this game. So I like him being out there. I just wish Drake Greenlaw would hurry up and get back so we could have those three guys together. Because I think with those three guys together, our run defense would be a lot better.
A smidge better, and
just a smidge.
There's a good chance it'd be at least a smidge
57
better.
57 points better.
Definitely 57 points better. Definitely. D4 too. I got to give him some credit on his big sack where he whipped around, smacked Russell Wilson around his face, and just threw him into the ground, and then gave everyone the nice big
5.
The double nickels. You love to see the double nickels out there having some success. 1.5 sacks early in that game, man. I thought we were going to get my wow, that's bold. I thought we were about to rumble all the way through the Seattle O-line and just, punish Russ all game long. And we did. We did punish Russ. We did hit him a bunch. It's just once he gets rolling and starts cooking a little bit, it becomes hard to slow him down.
Yeah, and also, I mean, the circumstances of the game change. You're playing from behind. You're not playing from ahead. Your offense is not staying on the ball, so your rotation changes. It does change a lot of things. So circumstances of the game mean a lot. And once Russ got, the freedom to be able to cook a little bit, they still got after him and dialed it up. But when he's playing at a plus territory and good field position all the time, it's a little bit tougher.
It's very tough. It's extremely tough, man. It's hard to get some of those things dialed in and have success doing those things. Cutback crew, Faithful, let us know what you thought about the recap down below. I know you're upset. You're frustrated. Maybe even you're sad. Maybe you shed a tear. I'm in that boat with you. I know. I understand. It's frustrating. It's hard. It's hard when this team isn't doing the things you want and winning the winnable games. But let us know what you're thinking down below, what you thought about the recap, what you thought about this game, and are you excited? Are you worried heading into this matchup here in Week 5 with the Arizona Cardinals? We want to hear from you down in the comment section below.
I'm moving on into the void that is between Seattle and Arizona. I'm going to just relax. So everyone, done with this game. I'm ready to move on, except for the fact I have to do an all 22 film breakdown. But anyways, I'm over the sting of this. I'm ready to just evaluate, see what the 49ers need to do to get better. I'm ready for them to make those execution and changes. And let's get behind the kid and see what he can do. Let's get behind this 49ers team and really root for them because we need this win. It would be a huge win against Arizona. It's not going to be easy by any means. This is a great football team. They've been executing at a high level. But that's why you play the game, because 1 week they almost lost to Jacksonville. The next week they came out and whooped what everyone thought was a Super Bowl contender and the Los Angeles Rams. So in the NFL, it really, styles make matchups, and this could change everything. So 49ers go out there and get it done. You're comfortable playing in Arizona for sure. That's for sure. Let's see what happens. Faithful Cutback crew. This is exciting. This is a new week, different opportunities, new situations, new matchups. We'll see how ready and what the 49ers do to prepare. And until the next one, stay safe. Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.